Hi everybody, welcome back to Mr. Ryan's art blog. So we today are going to be making a new project. We're going to be turning this half and half container into a lantern. So I have a couple of materials I want to show you first before we get started here. First, I have my found object. This is my half and half carton. It has been cleaned out completely, is nice and clean, ready to go for this project. I have right now, because I'm going to be painting mine, I have some acrylic paint, some acrylic paint that I have been stirring together here. Just a nice little brown paint to make our house out of this. I have some sandpaper that I need to use right at the start. I have a ruler. I am going to be using an X-acto blade. If you make some bigger pieces on here when you're cutting this part out, if you make them bigger, you can use a pair of scissors instead. And I also have a bigger fine tip. It says 5-point Sharpie. It's got the marker tip to it. All right. So my first step here, and please note that a lot of this video is actually going to be in time lapse, so it's going to be a lot quicker. So you're going to suddenly see me start working really fast, and that's okay. I'm trying to tell you first, and then I'll do it real quick and then show you the end result. All right, so first things first, I'm going to take my sandpaper and I'm going to sand this whole piece down. The reason that I'm doing that is because on this is a thin layer of plastic. It's on the inside and the outside. Obviously we don't need to do anything with the inside, we just need to work on out here. And what I'm doing is I'm scraping it and making marks on it so that when I paint, the paint will adhere down. All right, you'll also see me when I'm painting, I have a heat gun that I'm going to use to dry the paint quickly, and then I will do another couple of layers of this paint. And then once all of that is dry and ready to go, I'll start my video again from the time lapse to just regular video and show you how to draw on and then cut out your pieces. All right, so I'll see you guys in a little bit. In the meantime, check out this time lapse video of me getting this sanded and painted. All right. Alright, welcome back again. So you guys just watched me do a couple of things here. First, I sanded down with the carton itself to get some of that plastic off. I sanded down as much as I could, as much as where I knew I was going to paint, so that the paint could adhere a little bit better. Then I used my acrylic paint here, and the reason why I switched over to acrylic, I've tried this with tempera, and the tempera flakes off. So you got to be really careful with that. So I used acrylic instead. It dries faster. It adheres a little bit better than what it would normally, and then it will stay on and it will not flake. Okay. So the next step is I'm going to take my ruler here. I'm going to take my marker here, and I'm going to start marking it up. Now I'm turning this one into a little house. All right, you guys can turn it into whatever you like. I want to show you a couple of tricks here. So I'm going to start off and just use my ruler as a straight edge, and I'm going to make some marks on my painted paper here, on my painted carton. I'm going to start off with a door at the bottom. And this does not have to be perfect, just to the best of your abilities. All right. I'm then going to go up here and I'm going to start working on some windows. Right. Now, the reason I'm using a fine tip instead of an ultra fine is because, one, I'm okay with getting some slightly bigger marks on this piece, but two, I tried an ultra fine with another piece before, and I can tell you that it pulls the paint and makes the whole thing start to flake off a lot. So you got to be really careful with that. So this way, and then like this, here, and I've got myself a window. I'm going to actually cut out this inside part of each of these panes here. All right, so just to show you kind of where I'm marking right now is what's going to get cut out. All right, I'm going to make a couple of these right now. Yep. Draw down, again draw down, draw over and over, and I'm going to go over to my time lapse and I'm going to draw on the rest of this. All right, so on the back here, one last thing before I switch over and start doing the rest of my windows on this piece here. On the back here is going to be the flap that's going to open up so I can put this inside of it. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out with a line I made the last time I did one of these was 2 inches up. I'm going to do the same thing again this time. I'm going to do 2 inches and 2 inches, and then I'm going to draw a line that goes across as well. Just like this. All right. All right. I'll cut this one out so you guys can see the plan here. So I'm going to cut here, here, and then across the bottom. Okay. And it's going to work like this. So I'm going to start out here. Down to the bottom. Poke down, and then across. And the reason why I'm doing that is I'm going to actually take this, and you can if you want to. I'm not cutting through, but I am making a little mark there. And then when you open, you can flip open the flap just like that. And this will actually sit right on the bottom, of your lantern. All right, so that's the plan there. All right, I'm going to draw some more on, and then I'm going to start cutting them out, and I'll show you guys how I cut out the rest of these and then move back over into a time lapse again. So here comes the time lapse to show you guys me doing all the windows, and then I'll come back and show you how to cut these out before I move on to another time lapse to finish up the project. All right. Welcome back again. All right, now let's get cutting some of these out. Now I am not going to use my ruler for this part. I'm going to keep it safe over to the side there. I am going to use my X-acto knife to help me kind of cut some of these out and get these ready to go here. All right. First and foremost, this door. We are going to cut, unlike this flap that opens up this way, we are going to have the door open out. All right, so we're going to have the door open in one direction. So I'm going to start by cutting down this side. Take your time, make a nice straight line. All right, I'm also going to cut here, poke in, and then again take your time and make a nice straight line, unlike Mr. Ryan. Across. And I'm going to turn this, and I'm going to do the same thing at the bottom. I'm going to cut across like this out to where I got done with the door. And what you're going to end up with is this right here that's ready to be open. Now, I don't cut this part. You saw this on the flap as well. I don't cut straight through. I just make a little bit of a line through. And that way when I go to flip this open, it's easier to flip, okay? So there's the doorway, ready to go. Now I'm gonna get up here. This is a little bit easier than the door because I'm not trying to make a hinge. I'm not trying to open this door up. I'm not trying to open the window here. What I'm doing is I'm gonna start here, poke in, cut down, poke in and cut down, and I'm leaving a space. So I'm cutting the window panes, but I'm not cutting the frame inside of the window panes here. I'm not cutting the frame inside of the window. And that will help it make it look more like a window. So I'm doing all my vertical lines first. I'm going to do the same thing down here. All right, so nice cuts down. Poke and cut. Poke and cut. Poke and cut. And just keep going like this. Carefully as you can, try your best to stay on the lines that you drew. That's what they're there for. Be careful with your other hands, or with your other hand here, because sometimes you can pick up a little bit of the paint. Turn your piece and carefully poke and cut across the other way. And what you're going to do is you can either pull these out like this, or you can cut them so they drop right into your lantern, because you have this flat. And you take that piece and pull it out, okay? Again, you're going to see me go into a time lapse here, and I'm going to start cutting the rest of these out, and then we'll talk about the final part of this, okay? All right, see you guys in a little bit. All right, so I am all cut out. This is ready to go. This was a lot of fun once you actually get towards the end and you can reach in into the windows a little bit. You can actually pull out some of these extra pieces that I've pulled out here, and you know, kind of makes it look a little nicer. But here is my building. All right, I am going to do a little bit of fixing up on it too. I think I'm going to paint the roof black, and I'm going to maybe do some small lines around the windows to make it look like they have frames and whatnot, maybe a little door handle, and go from there. You can add pretty much anything you like. If you want to do some extra cardboard pieces like this on the front and do some flowers coming out of it or whatever, it's completely up to you. You can make this anything that you want to make it. If you want to do a couple of buildings together or something like that, it's awesome. Doesn't matter. Now, here's the fun part, okay? So I have my little light here, all right, ready to go. And I have my little garage door in the back here, all right. Put that in just like this. Let me move my phone here, and you are going to see this thing start to light up. All right, so I will add some pictures with this as well, and I'll take some pictures in the dark so you can see this nice and lit up and lantern-like, and then I'll do my adjustments and everything like that too. So hopefully you guys have fun with this. If you make one of these, please let me know. Take some pictures, send some to me. I'd love to see them. Awesome, thank you. Have fun making art.